As Russia invades Ukraine, painful war memories are remembered by many Iraqis who have lost their hopes and dreams due to conflict. Saddam, Bush, and Putin, they are all dogs, said Samar al-Idrisi, a 47-year-old from the capital Baghdad. Some world leaders seem to have an insatiable greed for invading other countries. The attack ordered by Russian President Vladimir Putin on Ukraine is all too familiar for a Middle East nation that was the center of a geopolitical struggle for decades. The horrific scenes unfolding in Ukraine have also played out in Iraq. To witness attacks in another part of the world for Iraqis is a painful reminder for many here who have lost their hopes and dreams of an end to war. This is Iraq. It was here that mankind began first to read, write, create laws and live in cities under an organized government. During ancient times, lands that now constitute Iraq were known as Mesopotamia, land between the rivers, a region whose extensive alluvial plains gave rise to some of the world's earliest civilizations and empires since the 6th millennium BC, including those of Akkad, Babylon, Assyria and Sumer, the earliest known civilization. The cradle of civilization is a common term for the area comprising modern Iraq and was the birthplace of many valuable inventions and discoveries, including writing system, mathematics, time calendar, astrology and law code. The Hashemite Kingdom of Iraq gained independence from the UK in 1932. In 1958, the monarchy was overthrown and the Iraqi Republic created. Iraq was controlled by the Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party from 1968 until 2003. After taking power in 1968, the party adopted Iraqi nationalism and encouraged Iraqis to identify themselves as cultural heirs of Mesopotamia with a medieval Islamic identity. Saddam Hussein sought to be seen as leader of a great Neo-Mesopotamian Iraqi nation by having himself compared to Nebuchadnezzar II and Hammurabi. Prior to 21st century, Iraq had an advanced and successful education system. Iraq had developed a centralized free healthcare system in the 1970s using a hospital-based, capital-intensive model of curative care. The UNICEF WHO report noted that prior to 1990, 97% of the urban dwellers and 71% of the rural population had access to free primary healthcare. Just 2% of hospital beds were privately managed. Through the 1970s, Saddam consolidated his authority over the apparatus of government as oil money helped Iraq's economy grow rapidly. Recently, UNICEF investigated portions of spending for education and found that some of the money has gone to waste. The rate for dropouts from schools for boys was around 16.5%, girls were at 20.1%, where it could be due to economic or family reasons. The budget for education makes up about only 5.7% of government spending and continues to stay at or below this percentage. In 2010, spending on healthcare accounted for 6.84% of the country's GDP, reducing the medical standards prior to the 21st century. Iraq now is not the same country as it was in the 80s. The US introduced some of the fiercest economic penalties on Iraq following Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait in 1990. The sanctions were so debilitating that a generation of Iraqis suffered unspeakable pain, and its rippling effect is still visible in the current Iraqi economy. They intended to punish Saddam, but all they did was to make lives of people unlivable. Then American President George W. Bush ordered the invasion of Iraq in March 2003, alleging then-leader Saddam Hussein was building weapons of mass destruction, while harboring operatives from Al-Qaeda, the armed group held responsible for the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States. Evidence stated that there was no weapons of mass destruction were found, and Saddam had no connection with the Al-Qaeda. President Bush had faced heavy criticism from an array of popular and official sources both inside and outside the United States. Even after the removal of Saddam, it was pure chaos. Insurgents started to appear everywhere, the armed groups still threatening Iraq's security. The battles following the invasion were in some way more brutal than the ones fought during it. Rebel groups sprung up across the country, either in opposition to American forces or with the intent to exploit the vacuum left by a lack of central governance. No one knows what could happen in Ukraine. The Iraqis really hope the suffering that they experienced would not be repeated in Ukraine and Russia.